Tom Harper heard the iceberg before he saw it, a grinding roar that split the Arctic Ranger's hull. The ship was sinking 200 miles from help. Rescue wouldn't arrive for 72 hours. They had 6. Tom grabbed 3 flares and a broken radio. His only chance, trek 47 miles to an abandoned weather station. At minus 40 degrees, he had 12 hours before hypothermia killed him. He had a photo of his newborn daughter. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from. And if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow I've saved something extra special for you. 4 hours earlier, Tom had been drinking coffee in the engine room, hands wrapped around the metal cup for warmth, even though the room ran at 70 degrees. The Arctic Ranger had been cutting through pack ice for 3 days, hauling 2 million gallons of diesel fuel from Prudhoe to Nome. Routine run. He'd made it 60 times in 22 years. He'd taped Emma's photo to his toolbox that morning, 3 weeks old in the picture, wrapped in a pink blanket at Providence Hospital in Anchorage. Sarah had sent it 2 days ago with a message. She has your eyes. Come home safe. Tom had stared at that photo for 10 minutes, memorizing every detail of his daughter's face. First child at 47 years old. He'd almost given up on being a father. The engine's rhythm changed at 1800 hours. Nothing dramatic, just a slight variation in the thrumming that most engineers would miss. Tom caught it immediately. He set down his coffee and moved to the pressure gauges. Everything read normal. Oil pressure, good. Coolant flowing. Temperature steady. But something felt wrong. He'd learned to trust his instincts in the Bering Sea 20 years back. Ignored a feeling once and nearly lost a ship to a cracked cooling line. Never made that mistake again. Tom climbed the metal stairs to the bridge. Captain Morrison stood at the helm with First Officer Chen, both studying the radar screen. Ice formations glowed green against the black display. "Captain, I'm getting odd vibrations from the main engine," Tom said. Morrison didn't look up. "Readings. All normal, but the sound's off. We're pushing through heavy ice, Tom. Ship's going to complain." Morrison tapped the radar screen. "See this formation? Coast Guard's tracking a large berg drifting south. Should pass us by 2 miles if we maintain course." Tom moved closer to the screen. The formation looked massive. Icebergs were tricky on radar. Showed you the tip while hiding the bulk underneath. "How large?" Tom asked. "Hard to say," Chen said. "Weather station reported it at maybe 200 feet above waterline. But it's older ice. Dense." Tom ran the calculations in his head. Older ice meant the underwater portion could extend 8 times deeper than what showed above. The Arctic Ranger's hull was reinforced for ice impact, but not at full load. Not with 2 million gallons of fuel weighing her down. "What if we alter course?" Tom said. "Add a few hours, but give us wider clearance." Morrison finally looked at him. "Company's already breathing down my neck about delays. We're behind schedule because of that storm 2 days back. We hold course, watch the berg, and if it drifts closer, we adjust then." Tom wanted to push harder, but Morrison had 30 years of Arctic navigation, more experience than anyone on this ship, and Tom was just the engineer. He maintained the engines. He didn't make navigation calls. "Understood, sir," Tom said. He returned to the engine room and checked his watch. If they maintained speed, they'd pass the iceberg's projected path in 4 hours. He pulled out his phone and looked at Emma's photo again. Made himself a promise. Last winter run. Next year he'd take a position in Anchorage, shore-based, home every night. 4 hours later, the promise became a fight for survival. The impact sounded like a bomb going off inside a metal drum. Tom was checking coolant levels when the ship lurched sideways and threw him into the bulkhead. His shoulder hit steel. Pain exploded down his arm. The emergency klaxon screamed to life. Red lights strobed through the engine room. Tom pulled himself up using a pipe. His ribs hurt, probably cracked. The engine's rhythm had changed again. Not a variation this time. A death rattle. He could hear water rushing somewhere below. A lot of water. Moving fast. He grabbed the intercom. "Bridge, this is engineering. What's our status?" Static. Then Morrison's voice, tight with controlled panic. "Hull breach. Multiple points. We hit an underwater shelf. Didn't see it coming." Tom was already moving toward the lower deck access. He yanked open the hatch and looked down. Water was flooding the cargo hold. Black Arctic seawater mixed with diesel fuel, creating a toxic slick that rose 6 inches every minute he watched. "How bad?" Tom said into the intercom. "Bad. We're listing 12 degrees and it's getting worse. I'm calling abandon ship." Tom's mind raced through the calculations. Fuel tanker this size, this much flooding, water this cold. They had maybe 6 hours before she went under. Probably less. He climbed back up and sealed the hatch. No point going down there. Nothing to fix. The hull was compromised in multiple locations. He ran to his locker and grabbed his survival gear. Every crew member kept an emergency kit: waterproof matches, flares, emergency blanket, protein bars, water purification tablets, the GPS unit he'd bought with his own money because the ship's equipment was garbage. He shoved everything into a waterproof pack. The engine room door burst open. Marcus Webb stumbled in. 24 years old, junior engineer, 2 years on Arctic ships. His face was white. "Tom, what do we do?" "Get your survival kit. Meet on deck. Move." Tom grabbed Emma's photo from his toolbox and tucked it inside his jacket. Then he ran for the stairs. The ship tilted further as he climbed. 15 degrees now. Things were sliding across floors, metal groaning under stress. The sound of a ship dying. He emerged onto the main deck. Wind hit him like a fist. Minus 40 degrees, maybe colder. The sky was clear, stars bright, which meant the temperature would drop further. Morrison stood by the lifeboats with Chen and 8 other crew members. Everyone was there except Marcus, still getting his gear, and 2 engineers who'd been in the engine room with Tom. The Iceberg loomed 300 yards off the port side, massive, white and blue in the emergency lights, beautiful and deadly. Tom could see the underwater shelf now. It stretched out from the main berg like a blade. They'd hit it at 12 knots, punched holes through the reinforced hull like paper. "Lifeboats ready," Tom said. Morrison shook his head. "Port side boats are destroyed. Iceberg shelf tore them apart. We've got 2 starboard boats. Capacity for 12. We're 14. Tom looked at the boats, looked at the ice, looked at the water. All death traps. The boats wouldn't survive out here. Not in this cold. Not with a storm coming. He could see the cloud bank building on the horizon. They had maybe 20 hours before it hit. "There's a weather station," Tom said. 47 miles northeast. Abandoned, but it has a radio. Morrison stared at him. 47 miles across pack ice. Nobody survives that. Nobody survives staying here either. Morrison called an emergency meeting on the tilting deck. 14 men huddled against the wind while the ship groaned beneath them. Tom could feel the list getting worse. 20 degrees now. They had maybe 4 hours left. "Coast Guard's been notified," Morrison said. "Helicopter rescue is 72 hours out. Weather's too rough for fixed wing. Storm's closing the flight window." "We'll be dead in 72 hours, Chen said. "Lifeboats won't work." Tom cut Morrison off. "I've seen boats try to survive in conditions like this. Ice will crush them in 6 hours. Maybe less with that storm coming." Marcus spoke up, his voice shaking. "So what's the plan?" Tom pulled out his GPS unit and powered it on. The screen flickered, came to life, showed their position as a blinking dot in a sea of white. He'd programmed the weather station coordinates years ago. Every Arctic ship engineer knew about Station 7, built in the 80s for climate research, abandoned in 94 when funding dried up, but the structure was solid and the emergency radio was supposed to still work. "Here," Tom pointed at the screen. 47 miles northeast, Weather Station 7. It's got shelter, supplies, and a working emergency radio with better range than what we've got here. 47 miles, Morrison repeated, in minus 40 temperatures, across moving ice, through a storm. "I know the route," Tom said. "Did a survival course at Station 7 in 98. Trained there for 2 weeks. I know the ice patterns. I know the terrain." That wasn't entirely true. He'd spent 2 weeks there 16 years ago. The ice moved, the patterns changed, but he knew more than anyone else on this ship. "You're talking about a suicide mission," Morrison said. "I'm talking about the only option that doesn't guarantee death." Tom looked at each crew member. Young faces, scared faces, men who trusted him to keep the engines running, keep them safe. Someone goes to the station, gets the radio working, calls in our exact position. Coast Guard redirects the helicopter to us instead of searching 200 miles of ocean. Why not just use our radio? Marcus asked. Chen answered. Range. Our emergency radio reaches maybe 50 miles in good conditions. Station 7's radio was military grade, 300-mile range, and it's elevated. Better line of sight. Tom nodded. Someone has to go. I'm the only one who knows where it is. You'll die out there, Morrison said quietly. Maybe, but if I stay here, I definitely die. We all do. The ship lurched, more groaning metal. Something gave way below deck with a sound like thunder. The list increased to 25 degrees. Men grabbed railings to keep from sliding. We're out of time, Tom said. I'm going. I'll take a radio, flares, and whatever survival gear we can spare. You keep the crew together. Keep them warm. 72 hours, that's all you need to last. Morrison studied Tom's face for a long moment. Then he nodded. Chen, gather every flare we've got. Get Tom extra batteries for his GPS, protein bars, water, everything. Captain, Marcus started. He's right, Morrison said. It's the only play we've got. Tom checked his watch. 2,200 hours. If he pushed hard, made good time, he could reach the station by late afternoon tomorrow. Call for help. Guide the Coast Guard in. Save 14 lives. He touched Emma's photo through his jacket, felt the outline of her face against his chest. I'll bring help, Tom said. Just stay alive until I do. Chen handed Tom 3 flares, red emergency signals in waterproof casings. Tom clipped them to his belt. The radio went into his pack, a handheld emergency unit with fresh batteries. Morrison gave him the ship's only spare GPS battery. Marcus contributed his protein bars. 8 total, maybe 1,500 calories if Tom rationed them. Water, Tom asked. 2 bottles, Chen said. That's all we can spare. Tom did the math. 2 bottles, maybe 60 ounces total, 47 miles. In extreme cold, a man needed 3 times normal hydration. He'd have to melt ice. That meant stopping, wasting time. I'll make it work, Tom said. Morrison pulled Tom aside while the others prepared gear. Listen to me. If you don't make it to that station in 24 hours, we're abandoning the lifeboats and sheltering on the ice. Building snow caves. You'll freeze. We'll freeze slower than in those boats. Morrison gripped Tom's shoulder. You've got one shot at this. If you can't make the station, turn back. Tom knew Morrison was trying to give him an out, permission to fail, but turning back meant watching 13 men die, meant never seeing Emma grow up. I won't turn back, Tom said. He pulled on his thermal gear. 3 layers, synthetic base, fleece middle, waterproof shell, rated for -60. His gloves were heavy-duty Arctic rated. His boots were the same ones he'd used for 16 years. Broken in, reliable. He strapped on the pack. Maybe 30 pounds. The GPS showed Station 7's coordinates. Tom programmed waypoints every 5 miles. The compass went into his chest pocket where body heat would keep it working. The knife clipped to his belt. The lighter stayed in his inside pocket, close to his core. You ready? Morrison asked. Tom looked at the crew. Young Marcus trying not to cry. Chen maintaining his calm exterior. The other engineers and deckhands watching with desperate hope. 14 men depending on him. Ready, Tom said. He climbed over the railing onto the ice shelf beside the ship. The surface was rough, jagged. His boots crunched on frozen water. He took his first steps away from the Arctic Ranger. Behind him, the ship listed further. Emergency light still blazing. Tom didn't look back. He checked the GPS. Northeast, 47 miles. He started walking. The cold hit him immediately. Even through 3 layers, it found every gap, every zipper, every seam. The wind cut across the ice at 20 miles per hour. -40 ambient became -60 with wind chill. His face burned where exposed. He pulled his balaclava higher and kept moving. Behind him, the Arctic Ranger groaned, metal shrieking. The sound carried across the ice for miles. Tom walked faster. The first hour passed in a rhythm of footsteps and breathing. Left foot, right foot. Inhale through nose, exhale through mouth. Tom counted steps to mark distance. Roughly 2,000 steps per mile. He needed to average 3 miles per hour to reach the station in 16 hours. The ice beneath him was old pack ice, dense and stable, but the surface was rough. Pressure ridges formed small hills and valleys where ice sheets had collided. Tom navigated around the worst formations, but some he had to climb. Each climb cost energy. He checked his GPS at the 1-hour mark. 3.2 miles covered. Slightly ahead of pace. The screen flickered. Battery already showing 90%. The cold drained electronics fast. Tom powered it off to conserve juice. The stars overhead were impossibly bright. Tom used them for navigation. He found Polaris. Kept it at his right shoulder. That kept him moving northeast. His ribs hurt with every breath. Definitely cracked from the impact. Each inhalation sent sharp pain through his left side. He tried breathing shallow. That helped, but decreased oxygen intake. Made him slower. He forced himself to breathe deep despite the pain. At 2 hours, he stopped to check extremities. Frostbite crept up on you. Started in fingers and toes. Tom pulled off his gloves. His fingers were pale but moved normally. He made a fist, released it. Blood flow good. He pulled the gloves back on and stomped his feet. Toes still responsive. The temperature was dropping. Probably minus 45 now. The wind had increased too, gusts hitting 30 miles per hour. Tom pulled his hood tighter and leaned into the wind. At 3 hours, disaster struck. Tom was navigating around a pressure ridge when the ice beneath him gave way. A crack opened under his right foot. His leg plunged through into freezing water up to his knee. He threw himself backward, yanking his leg out. The water was so cold it felt like his leg had been amputated. He scrambled away from the crack and assessed the damage. His boot was soaked. Water was already freezing on the outside. Inside, his sock was drenched. In minus 45 degrees, wet meant dead. Wet fabric conducted heat away 30 times faster than dry fabric. He had maybe 10 minutes before frostbite set in. Tom dropped his pack and dug through it with shaking hands. He'd packed one spare pair of socks. He pulled off his boot. The wet sock peeled away. His foot was already turning white. He dried it with his spare shirt. Rough, quick movements, getting circulation back. Then he pulled on the dry sock in the boot. The boot's interior was still wet, but the dry sock created a barrier. He checked his watch. 3 hours, 15 minutes. He'd lost 15 minutes. And now he only had the socks on his feet. No more spares. One more mistake like that and he'd lose toes. Tom stood. His right leg ached. The cold had penetrated deep. He started walking again. Had to generate heat. Had to keep moving. Behind him, somewhere in the darkness, the Arctic Ranger was dying, and Tom was running out of time. At 4 hours, Tom hit his first major obstacle. A pressure ridge 30 feet high stretched across his path. The ice had buckled upward where two sheets collided. Sharp edges, unstable sections. Climbing it would take time and energy he couldn't afford. He checked the GPS. The screen took 15 seconds to power on. 82% battery. He was 12 miles from the ship. 35 miles remained. The GPS showed the ridge extending for at least a mile in both directions. Going around meant adding 3 miles. Tom studied the ridge. Years of Arctic experience had taught him to read ice formations. Dark blue meant denser, more stable ice. White sections were newer, weaker. He spotted a section where blue ice formed a rough staircase. Climbable. The climb started steep. Tom used his hands to grip the ice. Pull, step, pull, step. His ribs screamed. Each pull sent pain through his chest. Pain meant alive. Numb meant dead. 15 feet up, his right foot slipped. The frozen boot couldn't grip properly. Tom caught himself with his hands. His injured ribs took the impact. He gasped, saw stars. For a moment he hung there. Then he thought of Emma, 3 weeks old. She'd never know him if he quit now. He pulled himself up, kept climbing. At the top of the ridge, Tom collapsed. Just for a moment. The wind was stronger up here, nothing to block it. It tore across the ice at 40 miles per hour. Wind chill had to be minus 70 now. Tom checked his face with his gloved hand. His cheeks felt wooden, numb. He pulled his balaclava down and pressed his palms against his cheeks. The pain of blood flow returning was intense. Good. Pain meant circulation. The descent was worse than the climb, steeper on this side. One wrong step and he'd slide 30 feet into broken ice chunks. Tom moved sideways, testing each foothold. His right boot still couldn't grip properly. Halfway down, a chunk of ice broke away under his right foot. Tom dropped 4 feet before catching himself. He slammed into the ridge face. His pack swung around and nearly pulled him off. His ribs felt like they were grinding together. He found his footing, kept descending. At the bottom, he checked his watch. 4 hours, 40 minutes. He'd lost 40 minutes on the ridge. His pace was slipping. He'd only covered 12 miles in nearly 5 hours. Tom ate one protein bar, forced it down. His body needed fuel. He washed it down with water. The liquid was starting to freeze in the bottle. He had to shake it to break up ice crystals. He checked the GPS one more time. 75% battery, 35 miles to go. Tom started walking, faster now, pushing through the pain. The storm clouds on the horizon were closer, maybe 15 hours until they hit. He had to reach the station before then. In a whiteout, he'd never find it. At 6 hours, Tom's body started breaking down. His legs felt like concrete. Each step required conscious effort. Lift, move, plant, lift, move, plant. The rhythm that had carried him for 12 miles was faltering. He stopped and checked his supplies. 1 protein bar left. 1 bottle of water, half frozen. He'd been rationing, but his body was burning through calories faster than he could replace them. The extreme cold forced his metabolism into overdrive just to maintain core temperature. He was consuming himself from the inside. Tom pulled out Emma's photo. The edges were worn from touching it. He studied her face in the starlight. Sarah had written on the back, Emma Rose Harper, born January 12th. 7 pounds, 4 ounces. She's perfect. He tucked the photo away and kept moving. At 7 hours, he saw lights in the distance. His heart jumped. The station? Already. But that was impossible. He'd only covered maybe 16 miles. 31 remained. Tom blinked, rubbed his eyes. The lights disappeared. Hallucination. His brain was starting to misfire from exhaustion and cold. That was dangerous. Hallucinations meant his core temperature was dropping. Hypothermia creeping in. He forced himself to eat the last protein bar. Chewed slowly. His jaw ached from clenching against the cold. The bar tasted like cardboard, but he got it down. Drank more water. The bottle was nearly empty now. Tom checked the GPS. 68% battery, 16 miles covered. The math was brutal. 7 hours for 16 miles. At this pace, he'd need 21 more hours to cover 31 miles. The storm would hit long before then. He had to move faster. Tom broke into a jog. His ribs protested. His right foot screamed. He ignored both and ran. This story takes time to craft. If you're enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. At 6 hours, Tom's body started breaking down. His legs felt like concrete. Each step required conscious effort. Lift, move, plant. The rhythm that had carried him 12 miles was faltering. He stopped and checked his supplies. 1 protein bar remaining. 1 bottle of water, half frozen. He'd been rationing, but his body was burning calories faster than he could replace them. The extreme cold forced his metabolism into overdrive. He was consuming himself from the inside. Tom pulled out Emma's photo. The edges were worn from touching it. Sarah had written on the back, Emma Rose Harper, born January 12th, 7 pounds, 4 ounces. She's perfect. He tucked the photo away and kept moving. At 7 hours, he saw lights in the distance. His heart jumped. The station. But that was impossible. He'd only covered maybe 18 miles. 29 remained. Tom blinked. The lights disappeared. Hallucination. His brain was misfiring from exhaustion and cold. Hypothermia creeping in. He forced himself to eat the last protein bar. Chewed slowly. His jaw ached from clenching against the cold. He drank more water. The bottle was nearly empty now. The ice changed character. Smoother here. Newer formation. Tom tested each step carefully. New ice meant thinner ice. He couldn't afford another breakthrough. His spare socks were gone. At 8 hours, Tom hit the halfway point. 23 miles from the ship. 24 miles to the station. But his pace was slowing. The first 12 miles had taken 5 hours. The next 11 had taken 3. He was averaging barely 2 miles per hour now. The wind shifted. Now it came from behind him, pushing him forward. Tom increased his pace slightly. The tailwind made each step easier. His right foot had gone completely numb. He couldn't feel his toes at all, frostbite spreading. He'd lose those toes for sure, but toes he could live without. At 9 hours, Tom stumbled on flat ice. Just caught himself before falling. His coordination was failing. Another hypothermia symptom. His core temperature was dropping despite all his layers. He started doing jumping jacks while he walked. Arms up, arms down. It looked ridiculous, but it worked. His heart rate increased. Blood flow improved. The mental fog lifted slightly. At 10 hours, disaster struck. Tom's GPS slipped from his hand. He watched in horror as it bounced on the ice. Once, twice, then slid into a crack between pressure ridges. Gone. Tom dropped to his knees and reached into the crack. His arm went in up to the shoulder. He felt around. Nothing. The GPS had fallen deeper, unreachable. He sat back, breathing hard. The GPS was gone, his only reliable navigation tool. All he had now was his compass and the stars. And the stars would disappear when the storm hit. Tom stood. Check the compass. Northeast. That was all he knew. Northeast and keep walking. At 11 hours, the storm arrived early. Tom saw it coming. A wall of white rushing across the ice. He had maybe 2 minutes. Not enough time to build shelter. He dropped to one knee and pulled his pack around to shield his face. The storm slammed into him, wind screaming at 50 miles per hour, ice particles like needles. Visibility dropped to 0. Tom couldn't see his own hands. Complete whiteout. He knew the rules. In a whiteout, you stopped moving. Built shelter. Waited. But stopping meant the crew died. Tom stood and started walking. He kept the wind at his back and slightly left. That should maintain his northeast heading. Each step was a gamble. He couldn't see the ice beneath him. He tested each footfall before committing his weight. Maybe 1 mile per hour, maybe less. At 12 hours, Tom walked into something solid. A wall, ice, a pressure ridge. He couldn't see the top through the storm. Tom turned right and followed the ridge. 300 steps. No opening. He turned back. Walked left. 500 steps. Still no opening. He had to climb. Tom felt the ice face. Found handholds. Started up. The wind tried to rip him off. He climbed anyway. His frozen right boot slipped constantly. He compensated with upper body strength. Arms burning. Ribs grinding. Tom reached the top. He descended the other side. Lost his grip halfway down and fell the last 10 feet. Landed hard on his back. His ribs exploded with pain. He lay there gasping. Get up. Had to get up. Tom rolled to his side, pushed himself to his knees, then to his feet, swaying, dizzy. He pulled out his compass. The needle spun wildly. The fall had damaged it. He held it away from his body. The needle settled. Northeast. Maybe. He walked. Just walked into the white void and hoped. At 13 hours, Tom's water ran out. He needed to melt ice. That meant stopping. Starting a fire. He couldn't afford the time, but he couldn't survive without water. Tom found a depression in the ice. Some protection from wind. He piled up ice chunks to create a windbreak. Then he pulled out his lighter. His hands shook. Took him 4 tries to get his glove off. The flame caught. Tiny, fragile, beautiful. Tom held ice chunks over the flame, melting them drop by drop into his bottle. It took 20 minutes to collect 4 ounces, but he had water. He drank half and saved half. Tom checked his remaining supplies. No food, 4 ounces of water, 2 flares, 1 radio, 1 compass that might be broken, 1 photo of Emma. That was all he had left. Tom stood and walked back into the storm. At 14 hours, Tom lost track of time. The whiteout erased everything. No sun, no stars, no landmarks. His watch was frozen, useless. He counted steps to maintain sanity. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got to 1,000 and started over. The counting kept his mind occupied. His body was shutting down in stages. Toes, gone. Fingers. He couldn't feel 3 on his left hand, 2 on his right. His face was wood. His lips wouldn't move properly. Tom stopped and did an inventory. He checked each body part, legs still working, core temperature critical but functional, arms working, head fuzzy but thinking. He was hypothermic, stage 2, maybe stage 3, but still mobile. He pulled Emma's photo from his jacket, had to use both hands. The photo was bent from the fall, but Emma's face was still clear. "I'm coming home," Tom said. His voice didn't sound like his own. "I'm coming home, baby girl." He kept walking. At 15 hours, the storm eased slightly. Visibility improved to maybe 20 feet. Tom could see shapes now. He checked his compass. The needle pointed northeast. He saw something dark ahead. Tom's heart jumped. The station. He stumbled toward it. The shadow grew larger. Not the station. Just rocks. Ice-covered boulders jutting through the ice sheet. Tom wanted to scream. Instead, he used the rocks for navigation. They meant land was close. The station was built on land. He was getting close. He walked around the rocks and kept going northeast. At 16 hours, Tom fell. Just collapsed. His legs gave out. He hit the ice face first. He lay there, the cold seeping through his layers. It would be easy to stay down. Just close his eyes and sleep. He thought of Sarah, their wedding day, small church in Anchorage. Sarah's vows, "I choose you, every day, no matter what." Tom pushed himself up, first to his knees, then to his feet, swaying, but upright. "I choose you too," he said. "I choose Emma. I choose life." He took a step, then another, one more step, just one more, then one more after that. At 17 hours, the storm began to break. Patches of clear sky appeared, stars visible through gaps. Tom looked up, found Polaris. He was off course. The storm had pushed him east. He corrected. Aimed more north now. The temperature had dropped. -50 now, but the wind had died to 10 miles per hour. Tom's face felt frozen solid. He touched his cheeks. No sensation. Frostbite. Deep. He'd lose skin. Maybe more. He had to find the station. Soon. He estimated he'd covered maybe 30 miles. 17 remained. At his current pace, 5 more hours. 5 hours he wasn't sure he had. Tom kept walking. Northeast. Toward Station 7. Toward Emma. At 18 hours, Tom's left hand stopped working. The fingers had been numb for hours, but now they wouldn't respond at all. He tried to make a fist. Nothing. The hand just hung at his side like dead weight. He switched his compass to his right hand. That hand still had 2 working fingers. Enough to hold things. Barely. He checked the compass every few minutes now. Without the GPS, it was his only reference. The needle wobbled but held northeast. He trusted it because he had no choice. The terrain changed. More rocks breaking through the ice. Bigger formations. Tom recognized this. He'd seen it 16 years ago during his training. Large boulder fields meant the coast was close. Station 7 sat 3 miles inland from the coast. If he'd calculated right, he was maybe 5 miles out. 5 miles, 2 hours at his current pace. Maybe 3. He could do 3 more hours. Had to do 3 more hours. At 19 hours, Tom saw a marker. A metal pole sticking up through the ice. Orange paint flaking off but still visible. A trail marker from the old station access road. He'd found it. He was on the right path. Tom laughed. A harsh, cracked sound. His lips split and bled. He didn't care. He'd found the trail. The station was close. Really close. He followed the markers. They appeared every quarter mile. Some had fallen. Some were buried in ice. But enough remained visible to guide him. Tom moved faster, ignoring the pain, ignoring his body's protests. The finish line was in sight. At 20 hours, he saw the station, a dark shape against white ice. Square building, 2 stories, antenna tower beside it. Real, solid. There. Tom tried to run. His legs wouldn't cooperate. He managed a stumbling jog. 50 yards, 40, 30. The building grew larger. He could see windows, a door, solar panels on the roof. 20 yards, 10. Tom reached the station and collapsed against the wall. He'd made it. 47 miles, 20 hours. He'd actually made it. Now he just had to get inside and make the radio work, before his body gave out completely. At 18 hours, Tom's left hand stopped working. The fingers had been numb for hours, but now they wouldn't respond at all. He tried to make a fist. Nothing. The hand just hung at his side like dead weight. He switched his compass to his right hand. That hand still had 2 working fingers, enough to hold things, barely. The terrain changed, more rocks breaking through the ice, bigger formations. Tom recognized this. Large boulder fields meant the coast was close. Station 7 sat 3 miles inland. If he'd calculated right, he was maybe 5 miles out. 5 miles. 2 hours at his current pace. Maybe 3. He could do 3 more hours. At 19 hours, Tom saw a marker. A metal pole sticking up through the ice. Orange paint flaking off but still visible. A trail marker from the old station access route. He'd found it. Tom laughed. A harsh, cracked sound. His lips split and bled. He didn't care. He'd found the trail. The station was close. He followed the markers. They appeared every quarter mile. Some had fallen, some were buried, but enough remained visible to guide him. At 20 hours, he saw the station. A dark shape against white ice. Square building. 2 stories. Antenna tower beside it. Real, solid. There. Tom tried to run. His legs wouldn't cooperate. He managed a stumbling jog. 50 yards, 40, 30. The building grew larger. 20 yards, 10. Tom reached the station and collapsed against the wall. He'd made it. 47 miles, 20 hours. Now he just had to get inside and make the radio work. The door was frozen shut. Tom pulled the handle with his good hand. Didn't budge. Ice had sealed it in the frame. 16 years of Arctic winters had welded it closed. Tom walked around the building. Every window was shuttered. Steel panels bolted over them. The back door was also frozen. Tom returned to the front door. He pulled his knife and started chipping at the ice around the door frame. Slow work. His dead left hand made it harder. 20 minutes of chipping. The ice broke away in chunks. Tom tried the door again. It moved, just slightly. He put his shoulder into it and pushed. The door groaned, then burst open. Tom fell inside, landed on his hands and knees on concrete. Darkness surrounded him. He fumbled for his lighter, got it out. The flame caught. The interior looked abandoned but intact. Desk, chairs, equipment, everything covered in dust, but no major damage. The solar panels outside should still work if he could find the power switch. Tom searched by lighter light. The flame flickered, went out. He sparked it again. His fuel was running low. He moved along the wall, found a panel, circuit breakers, all switched off. Tom flipped the main breaker. Nothing happened. The batteries were dead. No power meant no radio. He'd walked 47 miles for nothing. Wait. Station 7 had a backup generator. Diesel powered. Tom found the equipment room door. The generator sat in the corner. Red, covered in dust, but intact. Tom checked the fuel tank, quarter full. He found the starter cord. Pulled. Nothing. The engine was frozen solid. He found starter fluid on a shelf. Ether. He sprayed it into the air intake, then tried the starter cord again. The engine coughed, died. He sprayed more. Pulled again. Another cough. Silence. "Come on," Tom said. "Come on, you piece of junk." He sprayed a third time. Pulled with everything he had left. The engine coughed, sputtered, caught. The generator roared to life. Tom limped back to the main room. Lights flickered on. Heat kicked in. Vents started blowing warm air. After 20 hours in minus 50 degrees, that warm air felt like paradise. Tom found the radio, an old military unit. He powered it on. The display lit up, working. He grabbed the microphone with his right hand, pressed transmit. "Mayday, Mayday, this is Weather Station 7. Does anyone copy?" Static. Tom adjusted the frequency, tried again. "Mayday, Mayday, Station 7 to any Coast Guard vessel. Emergency, does anyone copy?" More static. Then a voice, faint, crackling, but human. "Station 7, this is Coast Guard Kodiak. We read you. What is your emergency?" Tom almost cried, but he didn't have time for emotions. "Coast Guard, I have 14 men stranded on pack ice. Fuel tanker Arctic Ranger, hull breach, ship sinking, location 200 miles north of Circle. I can give you exact coordinates. Station 7, copy, stand by. Tom gave them the ship's last known position, described the situation. The Coast Guard operator took it all down, then delivered news. Station 7, we have a helicopter en route. ETA to your location is 45 minutes. To the ship location, 90 minutes. Can the crew hold that long? Tom did the math. 21 hours since impact. The crew had to be on the ice now. Building shelters. In minus 50 degrees, 90 minutes was cutting it close. They'll hold, Tom said. They have to. Copy, Station 7. What is your condition? Tom looked at himself. Frostbite on his face. Dead left hand. Missing toes. Hypothermic. Exhausted, but alive. I'm operational, Tom said. Just get my crew. Copy, helicopter inbound. Stay on this frequency. Tom set down the microphone. He'd done it. Called for help. Saved his crew. Now he just had to stay conscious until the helicopter arrived. Tom slumped in the chair. The warm air was dangerous now. After 20 hours in extreme cold, warmth made his body want to shut down. His eyes felt heavy. He jerked awake, checked his watch. 2,100 hours. The helicopter was coming. Tom forced himself to stand. Movement would keep him awake. His right foot dragged, completely numb. His boot was solid ice. When they thawed his foot, he'd lose everything below the ankle. He knew that. His left hand hung useless. Blackened fingers. The hand would need amputation, probably at the wrist. Small price for 14 lives. Tom found a first aid kit. Inside were pain medications. He took 3 pills, swallowed them dry. The radio crackled. Station 7, Coast Guard Kodiak. Update on helicopter. ETA 30 minutes. Flight crew wants to know if you can mark your position. Tom grabbed the microphone. Copy. I have flares. 2 remaining. I'll deploy when I hear rotors. Negative, Station 7. Deploy now. We need visual confirmation before final approach. Tom looked at his 2 flares. If he used them now and the helicopter couldn't find him, he'd have nothing left. But the Coast Guard knew what they were doing. He pulled on his jacket, opened the door. The cold hit him again. Still minus 50. Tom walked 50 yards from the station, clear area. He pulled out the first flare, twisted the cap with his teeth, struck it against the igniter. The flare burst to life. Brilliant red light. He planted it in the snow and walked back for the second one. The second flare went 20 yards from the first. Now he had 2 markers. Tom returned to the station. The warmth made him dizzy. He sat in the chair. The radio was quiet. He waited. Then he heard it. The thump, thump, thump of rotor blades. Getting louder. Tom stood and went to the window. He could see lights, red and white. The helicopter. It circled once, then descended. The downdraft kicked up snow, but the pilot touched down perfectly. The side door opened. 2 figures jumped out. Medics. They ran toward the station. Tom opened the door. Tom Harper, the first medic shouted. That's me. Let's get you looked at. No, you need to get to my crew first. 14 men, 200 miles south. The medic shook his head. Second helicopter is already en route to them. Our orders are to stabilize you and transport to Kodiak. Tom wanted to argue, but his body gave out. His legs buckled. The medics caught him. Easy, one said. We got you. You're safe now. Safe. Tom hadn't felt safe in 21 hours. Now he finally did. The medics laid Tom on a stretcher. One started an IV line while the other assessed his injuries. They worked fast. Professional. Tom watched them through a haze. The pain medication was kicking in, making everything soft around the edges. Severe frostbite on extremities, the first medic said into his radio. Left hand non-responsive, right foot same, facial frostbite extensive. Core temperature reading 89 degrees. That's stage 3 hypothermia. We need immediate transport. The other medic wrapped Tom in thermal blankets. Electric heating pads went under his arms and around his torso, warming his core slowly. Too fast and his heart could stop. Tom knew that. He'd trained for it. How long were you out there? The medic asked. 20 hours, Tom said. His voice was weak. Maybe 21. 21 hours in minus 50. The medic shook his head. You shouldn't be alive. Had to get here. Had to call for help. You did. Your crew's getting picked up right now. Second helicopter radioed 10 minutes ago. They found all 14 men. Building snow shelters, just like you probably told them to. They're cold but alive. You saved them. Tom closed his eyes. Morrison had listened, had kept them together, had kept them alive. Good. That was good. Your family been notified? The medic asked. Tom thought of Sarah, of Emma. They didn't even know he was in danger yet. The ship's emergency had happened so fast. My wife, Sarah Harper, in Anchorage, and my daughter Emma, 3 weeks old. The medic wrote it down. We'll notify them. They'll meet you at the hospital. The stretcher lifted. Tom felt himself moving, being carried to the helicopter. The cold air hit him briefly. Then he was inside the aircraft, strapped down. The door closed. The engine noise increased. They were lifting off. Tom turned his head, looked out the window. Station 7 was disappearing below. The place that had saved his life. The flares still burning. Red lights against white ice. Then darkness as they flew higher. The medic leaned close. We're going to put you under for the flight. Make you more comfortable. When you wake up, you'll be in Kodiak. Your family will be there. Okay. Tom nodded. He felt a needle stick in his arm. The medication flowing in. His eyes grew heavy. He fought it for a moment. Wanted to stay awake. Make sure they really got his crew. The crew, Tom mumbled. Did they really get them? All 14, safe and sound. You did good, Tom. Now rest. Tom stopped fighting. Let the medication take him. His last thought before unconsciousness was Emma's face. Her perfect little face. He was going home to her, maybe missing some fingers and toes, maybe scarred for life, but alive. Going home. The medics laid Tom on a stretcher. One started an IV while the other assessed his injuries. They worked fast. Tom watched through a haze. The pain medication was kicking in. Severe frostbite on extremities, the first medic said into his radio. Left hand non-responsive. Right foot same. Facial frostbite extensive. Core temperature 89 degrees. Stage 3 hypothermia. We need immediate transport. The other medic wrapped Tom in thermal blankets. Electric heating pads went under his arms and around his torso, warming his core slowly, too fast and his heart could stop. How long were you out there? The medic asked. 20 hours, Tom said. His voice was weak. Maybe 21. 21 hours in minus 50. The medic shook his head. You shouldn't be alive. Had to get here. Had to call for help. You did. Your crew's getting picked up right now. Second helicopter radioed 10 minutes ago. They found all 14 men. They're cold but alive. You saved them. Tom closed his eyes. Morrison had kept them together. Good. Your family been notified? The medic asked. Tom thought of Sarah, of Emma. They didn't even know he was in danger yet. My wife, Sarah Harper, in Anchorage, and my daughter Emma, 3 weeks old. The medic wrote it down. We'll notify them. They'll meet you at the hospital. The stretcher lifted. Tom felt himself moving, being carried to the helicopter. The cold air hit him briefly. Then he was inside, strapped down. The engine noise increased. They were lifting off. The medic leaned close. We're going to put you under for the flight. When you wake up, you'll be in Kodiak. Your family will be there. Okay. Tom nodded. He felt a needle in his arm. His eyes grew heavy. The crew, Tom mumbled. Did they really get them? All 14, safe and sound. You did good, Tom. Now rest. Tom stopped fighting. Let the medication take him. His last thought was Emma's face. He was going home to her, maybe missing some fingers and toes, but alive. Going home. The world went dark. Tom woke to bright lights and antiseptic smell. Hospital, beeping machines. White walls, warm, safe. After 21 hours of darkness and cold, the sterile environment felt alien. A nurse noticed him stirring. Mr. Harper, welcome back. You're at Providence Kodiak Medical Center. You've been here 6 hours. How do you feel? Tom tried to speak. His throat was raw. Water. The nurse held a cup to his lips. He drank. It hurt going down, but was the best thing he'd ever tasted. My crew, Tom said. The Arctic Ranger crew. All safe. They arrived 2 hours after you. Everyone's being treated. Some frostbite, hypothermia, but everyone survived. You saved them. Tom let that sink in. Everyone survived. All 14 men. Your wife is here, the nurse said. Been here 4 hours. And your daughter. Should I bring them in? Tom nodded. The nurse left. Returned with Sarah. His wife looked exhausted, worried. She was carrying Emma. The baby was sleeping. Sarah rushed to his bedside, tears streaming. Tom. Oh God, Tom. I'm okay, Tom said. His voice cracked. I'm here. I made it. Sarah set Emma in the bassinet. Then she grabbed Tom's right hand, the one that still worked. She held it tight. They told me what you did, Sarah said. 47 miles in that cold. You could have died. 14 men would have died if I didn't go. I know, but you're all I have. You and Emma. I can't lose you. Tom looked at his daughter sleeping. Emma Rose Harper, 3 weeks old. She'd never know how close she came to growing up without a father. I had to come home to her, Tom said. That's what kept me moving. Her face. Your face. Sarah wiped her eyes. The doctor came by earlier. He explained your injuries. They have to amputate. Tom nodded. He'd known, had accepted it around hour 15. Left hand at the wrist, Tom said. Right foot below the ankle. Maybe some facial reconstruction. I know. You're okay with that. I'm alive. That's what matters. Hands and feet can be replaced. Life can't. The door opened. A doctor entered. Gray hair. He carried a chart. Mr. Harper, I'm Dr. Chen. I'm the surgeon handling your procedures. How are you feeling? Like I walked 47 miles in -50 weather. Dr. Chen smiled. Fair assessment. We need to operate within 12 hours. The tissue damage is extensive. Waiting longer risks infection. We need to remove the dead tissue and prepare the limbs for prosthetics. How long is recovery? 6 months minimum. Physical therapy. Learning to use prosthetics. It's a long road, but you're in remarkable shape considering what you went through. You're a fighter. Tom looked at Sarah, at Emma. I had reasons to fight. Your crew wants to visit, Dr. Chen said. Captain Morrison especially. Very insistent. Should I allow visitors after the surgery? Yes, I want to see them. Dr. Chen made a note. We'll arrange it. I need you to sign consent forms. We'll schedule surgery for 0600 tomorrow. Tom signed with his right hand. His signature was shaky but legible. Dr. Chen left. Sarah sat beside the bed. She picked up Emma. The Coast Guard wants to give you a commendation. There's going to be media attention, interviews. Are you ready for that? Tom wasn't sure. He just wanted to save his crew, get home to his family. He didn't feel like a hero. I'll handle whatever comes, Tom said. Right now, I just want to hold my daughter. Sarah placed Emma in Tom's right arm. He cradled her against his chest. She was so light, so warm. Emma stirred, opened her eyes. Blue eyes. She had his eyes. Hey, baby girl, Tom whispered. Daddy made it home, just like I promised. Emma made a small sound, then settled against him and closed her eyes. Tom felt tears on his cheeks. He didn't try to stop them. 2 days after surgery, Captain Morrison visited. Tom was sitting up. His left arm ended in bandages at the wrist, his right leg the same below the knee. The pain was manageable. The phantom sensations were worse. Morrison looked older, worn. He'd spent 36 hours on the ice, frostbite on his nose and ears, but alive. Tom, Morrison said. He pulled up a chair. I don't know how to thank you. You kept the crew alive, Tom said. That's thanks enough. We built snow caves like you said, rationed body heat. When we heard the helicopter, I've never been so relieved. Morrison paused. The Arctic Ranger sank 4 hours after you left. If we'd stayed on that ship, we'd all be dead. If you hadn't made it to the station, we'd have frozen waiting for rescue. Everyone made it out okay. Marcus lost 2 toes. Chen has frostbite on his hands, but kept his fingers. Minor injuries otherwise. Everyone's alive. 14 men going home because you walked 47 miles through hell. Tom thought about those miles. Each step. The pain. The cold. I almost didn't make it. Lost my GPS. Compass got damaged. Fell through ice. Storm hit early. There were a dozen times I thought I was done. But you kept going. Had to. You had families too. Kids waiting. I couldn't let them down. Morrison reached into his pocket, pulled out Tom's photo of Emma. Bent, water damaged, but recognizable. Found this at the station, Morrison said. Coast Guard recovered your pack. Thought you'd want it back. Tom took the photo with his good hand, the photo that had kept him alive. Thank you. The company's launching an investigation, Morrison said. I've already given my statement, told them you warned me, suggested we change course. I didn't listen. That's on me. The iceberg was unmapped, Tom said. Nobody's fault, just bad luck. What happens now? Morrison asked. For you. Tom looked at his bandaged arm, his missing foot. 6 months of rehab, learning prosthetics. Then I don't know, can't work on ships anymore. Company offered you a position, shore-based, training new engineers, safety protocols. They want you to teach what you learned out there. I'll think about it. Morrison stood. The whole crew wants to visit. We're planning a dinner in Anchorage when you're recovered. All of us together, families included. I'd like that. Morrison paused at the door. What you did out there wasn't just survival. That was something more. Every Arctic sailor will know your name. I just wanted to get home to my daughter. That's what makes it legendary. You didn't do it for glory. You did it for love. Morrison left. Tom sat alone with Emma's photo, thinking about those 21 hours. The cold, the pain, the fear, but also the strength he'd found, the will to survive. Sarah entered with Emma. The baby was awake and fussing. Sarah handed her to Tom. He held her with his good arm. She calmed immediately. You know what, Emma? Tom said softly. Your old man walked through hell to get back to you, and I'd do it again. Every single step, because you're worth it. Emma grabbed his finger with her tiny hand, held on tight, and Tom knew no matter what challenges lay ahead, he'd face them, just like he'd face the ice, one step at a time. 6 months later, Tom stood in his backyard in Anchorage, walking without crutches for the first time. The prosthetic foot felt strange but functional. His left arm ended in a mechanical hand, state-of-the-art, responsive. He could grip things, write, hold Emma. Sarah watched from the porch. Emma was in her arms, 6 months old now, starting to recognize faces, starting to smile when she saw her father. Tom took 10 steps, then 10 more. The prosthetic foot responded well. He'd been training for weeks, physical therapy 5 days a week, learning to balance, learning to trust the artificial limb. Looking good, Sarah called out. Tom walked to the porch, climbed the 3 steps, sat beside his wife. Emma reached for him. He took her with his mechanical hand, carefully. The sensors in the fingers let him feel pressure, let him hold her gently. I start the new job Monday, Tom said. Training instructor, teaching survival protocols. You nervous? A little, but it feels right, passing on what I learned. Emma grabbed his prosthetic finger, pulled on it. Tom smiled. She didn't care that it wasn't real. To her, it was just Dad's hand. If this story meant something to you, drop a comment and share it. It helps the next person find their way here.